Okay, so right now we are able to create our wire tool. So let's go to scripts. Let's create a new script. Let's call this wire tool. Let's add the script or player and let's go to Visual Studio. Okay, so first of all, we need to detect the ports which in front of us so we can interact with them and connecting them with each other. So let's do that. First of all, I need to declare a new variable, new port, and let's call this detected port. I need also a float, call this detecting range. Okay, so let's create a new function. Let's call this detect port, and here we will create array, and this array will start from our camera position, and the direction will be our camera's forward. So the direction will be the way we look in the game. So let's say ray equal new ray, and the origin camera dot main dot transform dot position, and the direction is camera dot main dot transform dot forward. So that means you go back to Unity, you see right here the player. So this is our camera. If the camera rotates in this way, the forward is on that direction. And if the camera rotates in this way, the forward will be in that direction. So we will check where the camera is looks. Okay. And now we need to use this ray. So let's get a ray cast hit for this hit, and let's check if we are hitting something. So if physics dot ray cast hit, uh, use our ray out hit. So here if we are hitting something, the hitted object data will be assigned to hit variable so we can use it, and the range will be our detecting range. Let's give this an initial value like 5, and inside the if you are right here, that's mean we detect something, but we should check if this thing is a port. So if hit game object, or if hit dot transform get component, or sorry dot try get component. So by this we are checking if the object has some specific component or not, and if it is, it will return true, and if not, it will return false, and it will pass the object itself. So we are checking if the object has a port component. So if it has a port component, it will return it to us in this way. Let's call this new port. So if you are right here, that's mean we detected a port. Also, we need to check if this port is not the port we are already detected. So we need to check if the new port is equal to detected port. We should return. Otherwise, that mean that we detecting this port for the first time. So detected port is equal to new port. and we need to show the port right here. And let's go to else. So if you are in this else, that means we are detecting something, but it's not a port. So in this case, we should check if you are if we has detected a port already. So if we have a detected port, we should hide it and make it null. So the detected port is not null. In this case, we should hide the port. So detect port dot hide, sorry, dot hide, and we should make it null. So yes, in this way. And also we need to make the same right here, because we are getting in this place if you are detecting something but it's not a port. But also we should make this if we are not detecting anything. So by this I think it will work perfectly. So don't forget to call this in update. So let's go back to Unity. uh, I need to add some UI so we can recognize the middle of the screen. So let's add a simple image, make this 2D mode, go back. This is too much big. Change the screen resolution. Let's make it 10 by 10 maybe. It's also so big. Make this 2 by 2. Yeah. Also, let's change the canvas type. Let's make this scale the screen size. Make this 1600, and in the y-axis this will be fine. So now let's change the scale. That's perfect. So let's go back to Unity and let's start the game. And now if we go to any port, yes, and if we get out the port, it will hide. It will show the port, it will hide the port. Perfect. It will work for any port. Perfect. Okay, so now let's start making our wire tool logic. But before doing that, we need to make some changes in port and wire logic. So let's go to port and let's declare a new variable called this wire, called this connected wire. We need to have a reference to the wire connected if it exists in ports, because we will use that a little bit later. Let's go to wire, and here we should create some new functions. So one of the functions we need to create is a function to reset the wire. So public void set wire. So to reset the wire, we need to make the input port null. We need to make the output port is also null, and we need to make the points of the line renderer. We need to remove them actually. So let's say line dot position count is equal to 0, and in this way we will be uh, reset the wire. We need also to make a function which returns bool, and we will call this can create connection, and this will tell us if this wire able to make a connection. That means we need to have an input port and output port existed. So in this case, we are able to make a connection. I will return if input port and output port. And if you don't know what this means, this is not a bool, but that means if it's null, it will return false. If it's true, if it's not null, it will return true. So if both of them true, which means both of them are not null, so it will return true. Okay, so now we can go back to our wire tool and start making our logic. So let's delete that. So first of all, we need to check for the mouse left button click. So input, get mouse button down. I'll hit 0 right here. 0 means the left button, and 1 means the right button. So if the left button clicked, that means we are adding a new point to our wire. So you are detecting some port right now. That means we will attach the wire to that port. So if the detected port, which we are finding using this function, so if it's not null, so we are trying to connect a new port right now. So here we need to make some checks. For example, first of all, we need to check if this port is connected or not. So if detected port is connected, if it's connected already to another wire, so we need to return, because we are not able to connect a port with more than one more than one wire. Uh, Another one, we need to check if the port not connect two input ports with each other or two output ports with each other. So let's check that. So if detected port to type is equal to port type dot input, and okay, so we need to check something about the wire we are creating now right now, but we don't have any reference to it. So let's add some variables. Let's say public wire, say temp wire, which is the wire we are creating in this moment. And let's add another wire. Let's call this wire prefab. Okay. So if the port we are detecting right now has a type of input, and the input port in our wire is not null, that means our port already connected to an input port. So we should not be able to connect another input port. So we should return. And we will make the same thing for the output. So if the detected port's type is output and our temp wire's output port is not null, we should not be able to connect them. We need to make another check. So we need to check that uh, we are not connecting the port with itself. So to do that, let's say if detected port is equal to temp wire dot input port, or to the temp wire's output port. So if the port is already connected to this port, we should not be able to connect it again. So let's say output port, and in this case will also return. Okay, so if we pass uh, to this area, that means all this condition, we pass all these conditions. So now we need to assign this port to our wire. So let's switch the detected port type. So if the type of the detected port is input, so we will say temp temp_wire.input port is equal to detected port, and we will make the same thing, but in this case we will assign the output port. Very nice. And here we will add a point visually actually. So let's make a function to add a point to our line. So here say public void add wire point, and as a parameter we will send a vector3, and we will call this, let's call this new point. Okay, so first of all we need to declare something. We need a vector3 list, and let's call this wire points. So this list will have the points of our wire, including the start and the end port. So right here, first of all, we need to add this point to our list. So wire points, add new point. And we need to add the point to our line renderer so we can see it visually. So we need to make some checks. So if our temp wires dot line dot position count, if this equal to 0, that means we don't have any points right now. In this case, we need to add actually 2 points, and the reason of that that we will add the first point for the place we clicked on, and the second point it will be the mouse position. So if we didn't end the wire, the last point will always be the mouse position. So for this reason, we will add 2 points. So temp wire dot line dot position count plus equal to, and let's set the position of the first point. So line dot set position. So in this case, this is our first point, so the index will be 0, and the position will be new point. Otherwise, so if the position count is not 0, that means this is not our first point for this wire. In this case, we will add only one position for the line, and here we will not set the first we will not set the first index in line. We'll set the last index, or not the last index, the last index minus 1, because as I said, the last index is always for the mouse position. So temp wire dot line dot set position. So the index here will be uh, temp wire dot line dot position count minus 2, and the vector3 will be new point. So with that, we will be able to add points to our line, and we can see it in the game space. So right here, let's use the function we have created. Let's say add wire point, and the point will be detected port dot transform dot position. And right here, we should check. So we should here check if the wire is completed, because if this is our first point in the wire or last point, in two cases we will get in here. So here we should check if the wire can make a connection. So if temp wire can create connection, so that means we have an input port and also have an output port. So here we will create a connection. We will do that later. But right now, if you remember, in this if, we get here if we click the left button of the mouse and we have some port detected. What we will do if we don't have any port detected? So to handle this, let's create an else here. So if you don't have a port detected, we can be able to add a point whenever we want to give our wire a good shape. So here we should check something. So I will write something. I will explain. So if temp_wire.input bitwise XOR temp_wire.output. So what does that mean? So we call this bitwise XOR, and this will return true if the both uh, the both inputs are different. So let's imagine if these are bool variables. So if true and true, that will return false because they are the same. And if they are false and false, it also will return the false because they are the same. But if one of them is true and one of them is false, it will return true. So bitwise XOR make sure that the two variables are different. So why we are doing that? We need to make sure that we have an input port. We are already connected to a port, but at the same time we haven't completed the connection. So we can add a points between the ports. I hope you understand. So here we need to make sure uh, where we are looking. Are we looking for a stable place to add a point on it? We need also to make a function that will check if we are looking to a stable place. So let's say public bool say is there stable point, and as a parameter it will be out vector3 stable point. So this function will check if we have a good surface, a good stable point, and if we have, it will return true, and also it will return a point using an out vector3. So right here, actually, we will make a similar logic to right here. So I will copy that. We will use array and raycast. So we need to have array from our camera. So let's check if this ray hitting something, and it's not important what is that thing. We need only to hit something because we should not be able to add a new point in the air. So physics raycast ray, and we need to use the detecting range. So right here, if you're getting right here, that's mean we are hitting something. So in this case, we'll return true. But before returning true, we need to assign hit point to the stable point variable. Otherwise, the stable point will be vector 0, and you will return false. So let's use this function right here. So if we have a stable point, and let's get this point vector3 stable point. So if we have it, we need to add this new point to our wire. So let's use add wire point and let's use the stable point. Very good. We have one more thing. As I said before, we need always to uh, attach the last point in the wire to the mouse position. So we need to make sure we are doing that. So right here, we are clicking to left button of the mouse. So after we clicking, if you are detecting a wire, sorry, if you are detecting a port, we should connect the port. And if you are not, we just will add a point in a stable surface. But if you are not doing anything, we are not clicking, not doing anything, the wire, the last point of the wire should be connected to the mouse position. So to make this, let's add an if statement. And in this if statement, we should make sure that we have at least connected one port, because the last point of the wire will be connected to the mouse position in case we have one connected port. So actually, I will make the same thing here. I will make sure that one of the ports of the wire is not null. So in this case, the last point will be connected to the mouse position. But if you are looking to some surface, it will not be the mouse position. It will be the surface we look. So also we will use this right here. So if we have stable point, because as I said, if you don't have a stable point, this will return false. So if it returns true, so we are looking to something very closely. So vector 3 stable point, and here we will connect the last point of our line to this stable point. Set position, and the index will be the last point of the line. So position count -1, and the position will be stable point. Otherwise, that means like we are looking to the air, we are not detecting anything, and there is not any stable surface. So we will actually we will take a point which is in front of our camera. Uh, so to do that, let's declare a vector 3 for this camera forward point. This is equal to camera dot main dot transform dot forward. Sorry, dot forward multiply with detecting range, and also we should add our camera position. Okay, so this point is actually something in our camera forward direction, and a little bit front of it, as much as detecting range is. So our line's last point will be in this position. So actually we will make the same code right here. Let's copy that. But we should change the stable point to camera forward point. And yeah, this will be fine for now. Okay, so we need to make our wire a prefab. So let's drag and drop this here. And this will be our temp wire. So let's go to player, attach this to the temp wire, and to the wire prefab, should add this. Yes. So if we now go to some port, and click to it, we will see that we are uh, can be make a shape of our report. So we can also make a shape on the ground, and let's try to add it to an output port. If you remember, this is an output port because it's sending energy. So this is also an output port. So if I try to make a connection right here, we will not be able, because this is also an output port. But if you are go to an input port, yes, we will be able. But we have some complication right here. And this is happening because we are not handling the situation of having two ports connected. So let's go and solve this. So to be able to fix that, we need to make some changes in the wire logic. So let's go to create connection function. And right here, first of all, let's assign the wire to the ports. So input port connected wire. I named this wrong. Sorry. Let's change this to connected wire. Let's go back. So the connected wire is equal to this. Also, we'll make the same thing for the output port. Perfect. Right here, actually, we should change this function. It should take some parameters. It should take the input and the output port as a parameter. It also need to take the points, because we don't necessarily need to have only 2 points, which they are the input and the output port points. We be able to have points between them. The port, the input port, and another port is the output port. I need also to get a list of Victor3, and this will be wire points. So right here, I should assign, we have already an input port variable here, so we should assign this to this. But they both of them have the same name, so to recognize them, we should make this. So this dot input port, which mean this input port, is equal to input port, which mean this input port. We will make the same for the output port. Right here, you need to change this. So the line position count is equal to wire points dot count, and also line dot set positions, and this is take array of Victor3, have a list, so we need to convert it to array. And yeah, so let's go back to our wire tool, and let's create a new function. Call this create wire. So to create wire, we need an input port, We need an output port, and we need a list of vector 3 for this points. So right here, let's instantiate a new wire. So let's call this a new wire is equal to instantiate. So we'll instantiate our wire prefab. So in transformed position, the rotation will be criterion identity, and here we should create the connection to this wire. So create connection, and you'll assign input port, output port, and the points as a parameter. So let's use this function right here. So right here, let's create a wire, and let's add our temp wire input port, and for the output port also our temp wire dot output port, and for the points we will use this list. So let's copy this and send it as parameter. After doing that, we need to reset our temporary wire. So temp wire dot reset wire, and we need to reset also this list. So this list also is equal to new vector 3 list. Yes, perfect. So let's go back to Unity, and we have small error. Yes, we have done this before. We have our wire tool, so we don't need this anymore. So let's delete that, save, and go back to Unity. Sorry, we have made something wrong here. The position of instantiation should be vector 3.0. So let's go back to Unity after fixing this. So now if we make the same connection right here, yeah, the connection will be done. So let's check if the values are also okay. So the value here is 8, and the value here is 8 also. So let's make the wind turbine better. If we raise it up, the output will be 20. So let's check this port also. Yes, it's changed 26. Perfect. Okay, so now after we are now able to creating wires, we should add some little features. Right now, I can add as much points as I want. I can't go back. I can't remove any points. So let's do that. So after going to Visual Studio, right here, under the this if statement, if we press left button of mouse, and in this case, I will make removing points with the right button of mouse. So if input dot get mouse button down, and this time I will type 1 for the right button. So in this case, we will check our temp wire dot line dot position count is 0. So if we don't have any point, we can remove any point also. So in this case, we will return uh, if our temp wire dot line position count is equal to 2 points, because I don't check if we have 1 point because it's impossible to have 1 point. So at least we will have 2 points, one for the first point, and the second point is for mouse position. So if we have 2 points and I tried to remove the last point, actually we should remove both of them because one of them is already for mouse position or camera forward position. So in this case, temp wire, reset wire, and also I need to reset the wire points. Wire points is equal to new list vector 3. Perfect. Otherwise, we have more than two ports, more than 2 points. So in this case, we should remove the last real point, not the not the last point, because the last point is always the mouse position. We need to remove the point before the mouse position. So temp wire, or sorry, wire points, but remove at temp wire dot line dot position count -2. And I also need to remove the point from the line renderer. So temp wire dot line position count minus equal 1. Need here also to set this and make it 0. We'll make it equal to 0. Yes. Let's go back to Unity. And right here, we start the game. Let's make a connection. And if I press the right button of mouse, you'll have an error. So we had a little error because we made something wrong right here. So right here we should only add 1 point. I add 2 points accidentally. So let's go back to Unity and let's start the game. And here if I make some points and try to remove it, it will remove it successfully. Yes, we can remove the points. Perfect. So now we are creating connections between ports, and this is amazing. So in the next video, actually we'll start to make some information in UI. So when I look to this, I will be able to know what is this. If I look to the port, I will be able to know the value of the electricity in that port. Also, if I look to the uh, but power storage, I will be able to see some details about it. So thank you for watching and see you in the next video.